Than that, it's okay. All right, yeah, cool.
All right, let's get this thing started. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a Three Geeks PVD joint collaboration. We're here with Larry Hankin. I've never been starstruck doing any of these interviews before, and
neither have I.
Not like this, though, man. Larry, you're in everything, quite literally. You're in one of my favorite Jean-Claude Van Damme movies of all time.
Oh man,
Warrant. I can't wait to get talking to you. But how you doing today?
Okay, just considering. I'm fine. Hanging in there.
Very cool.
How are you guys doing?
Doing good.
Can't complain. Talking to you.
Three geeks. I get it. I finally got it. I didn't know where did that come from. I don't get this.
Luckily for me,
okay.
Before COVID, I spent a lot of time in my basement anyway. So this didn't exactly changed my lifestyle too much.
Well, no, I mean, I tell you one thing, the upside of it is that because I was sequestered, I wrote a screenplay. Because I had to sit in the house. Yeah, so there could be an upside, little art. I got, so those are my paintings there. So I did a couple of those while I was sequestered too. I was trying to, let's use this time, valuable time.
That's right. I've been using it the podcast.
Yeah, right.
What better way to use the time? But before John gets really deep into the interview, I recently started rewatching Friends, and you are definitely my favorite part of the first season.
Oh, thank you very much.
I could have a cat.
Yeah. It wasn't fun there because I've since grown older and wiser since that show, since that time, really. It was just, I had back in the day, which is the Friends Day, and that, what was that, around the 90s?
90s. 92, 93.
Yeah, from about the 80s to the 90s, I had an attitude problem, and it came out in that show, so I was, so nobody would come near me. I just, and then I unloaded on the producers in the middle of about 100 people. And so nobody for the rest of the week, you rehearse for a week and then you shoot. And that first day, I don't know, I had a chip on my shoulder. So I just hollered at the producers in the middle of, oh, here we're all back from vacation. It was a vacation thing. So, and I hollered. I said, what the? Oh, because they had killed my character.
Yeah.
You get 5 and you're a one-off, but if you get 6, you're a recurring. That's a big, huge bump in your pay from just being 1 to boom. So I had 5. I figured, hey man, I'm going to get 6. If you got 5, you're going to get 6. I mean, it's a foregone conclusion. And no, they said, oh, you got the 5th one. I go, great, one more. He says, well, there's something wrong here. What could be wrong? He says, you die in the 5th one, no 6th one. No. So in between the guy who said you got the 5th one, in my mind, I just remember this. In my mind, I thought, 5, okay, one more, and I can put a down payment on a house. At least I can get a driveway. And then he says, yeah, but, they kill you. And they took the house away. I mean, in my mind, I had a house and it was gone within 10 seconds. And I kept that up. And so 3 days later, I had a report for the 5th show. I didn't know it, but I had sat on that anger for 3 days. And when I got into the thing and I saw the producers, it just came out, man. Boom. And I said, what the hell do you think you're doing? You killed my character. And I suddenly realized there's 100 people in this room celebrating the new season. And so the lady, I don't remember her name, but there was 3 producers. One of them was a woman. And they were startled, man, because I yelled it. I said, "What the hell are you?" Everybody just stopped, and there was a silence. And they all aimed at this table, with drinks in their hands. And she said, "Could we talk about this a little later, Larry?" And that whisper brought me back to sanity. I go, boom, and I realized, holy cow, what did I just do? So I said, "Oh, yeah, fine." And I just walked away, and this room was just silent. I walked away over to the craft services table. And I'm just saying, "Wow, man, I'll probably get fired for this. And what do I do? I'll have some coffee." And this little kid comes over. He was about 16, I guess, maybe an extra or the son of one of the producers. There was a lot of stars. It was just a big celebration. He comes over and he's just standing next to me and he goes, "Dude, that was so cool, man." Great. Okay, somebody understands.
Oh, I love Mr. Heckles.
Yeah, but they wouldn't come near me for the rest of the 5 days. Nobody. If I was go over the craft services table, they would just walk away. But yeah, I mean, Mr. Heckles was a nice guy. Other than that story, other than that, everything was fine. Yeah,
this is my month.
That's really interesting too, because it's funny how you say you didn't realize you were carrying around that.
No, I mean, yeah, well, okay, I'm gonna go in, darn it. And boom, it just, as soon as I saw them, it just this welled up thing. I'm cooler now in my dotage, but it's I've been taking lessons, coping mechanisms.
That's all we can do, really. But no, it's always interesting to me, especially nowadays when everyone's stuck at home together.
Oh,
and they
yeah,
don't realize the emotions that they're just walking around with every day, and there's no good outlet for them.
Right. I'm sure when this COVID thing is over, there's going to be an explosion of energy. It may not be bad energy, maybe good.
Oh, for sure.
Whatever. Because I'm thinking, this is PTSD kind of stuff. I mean, after everybody, it's over. I mean, because I walk down the street and people will, just either move out of the way, give you your distance, or turn away if they don't have a mask. At least they're doing that. I mean, thank you. But they'll turn away while I pass over here. And that's kind of a habit. Who is going to be the first person, and how long is it going to be before I hug somebody?
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah. Cool.
Yep, exactly that.
Well, yeah, wait a minute. Cool. Wait a minute. What? There is something. There's an upside to that. The upside to everything. The guy goes through life thinking, "Oh, yeah, no, there's a good side to this. There's a yin and a yang to it all."
I don't know. I found more recently, like when I do go out, like there's a lot more. We're all wearing masks, obviously, but there's a lot more eye contact.
Yeah, I give you that. Yeah,
I feel a lot more like, okay, like I see you. We're in it together. Like we're all.
And then you see, as you're walking by, because there's a couple of. I take not where not a lot of people are walking, like paths and stuff, but you see somebody coming on the paths towards you, and you see this. They take the mask, and then when you're gone. So
that's the new wave. You just
yeah.
Well, Larry, I would like to ask the question about one of your performances in a movie that
You're going to talk about show business now?
Yeah. Well, it's one of my favorite movies. You played the role of Charlie in Escape from Alcatraz.
Oh, Charlie Butts.
Yeah.
How
was shooting that film? Because the stories are that there was a lot of challenges to making that film.
Well, yeah, in the beginning. In the beginning, there was. I mean, there was a lot of doubt about it from the producers, from I think it was Warner Brothers. And it's really weird that I know about that. It was so, the scuttlebutt or the doubt about it was so, that it got down to the actors. I mean, generally that stuff is not talked about. So, yeah, I knew about it. And I don't know why. I think it was, in those days, that was considered a tent pole movie, big expensive thing. But they did it because it was Clint Eastwood,
Mm-hmm.
And so we heard about it. I didn't know what that meant, really. I'm an actor. I'm just going to go in and do it. But the word got around, and then, see, I'm a big fan of, as we all are, of Clint Eastwood. I don't like to show it. I used to be a fan, a crazy guy, but I'm over that. And around stars, you got to get over. I mean, they don't like that. So, I'm trying to cool it. But the guy I hung around with was Don Siegel, the director, a grand old gentleman who's from the black and white days, the old Hollywood. And he directed a lot of stars. I got to get rid of that. Hold on, wait a minute, just a second. Bam. Okay. So I would hang around with him, and I asked him about that very question. I said, well, what's going on? He said, well, and he seemed rather jaunty jolly for some reason. I was there for 3 months, so I was with him all the time. And so I said, you seem like happy today. He says, yeah, I got the phone call. The producers have seen the rushes of the first couple of days, and they said, don't worry. So within the first 2 weeks, that was wiped away. But yeah, he was worried about expenses, and because we had to go out to this Alcatraz, this island, and they were fighting. Nobody wanted us to make the movie on Alcatraz. It's a national monument. So making a movie, that looks. The National Monument Society frowns on movies. They don't, because we destroy places where we go. We do. I mean, it's just, I don't care what anybody says, we do. And, okay, here's a great example of it. Any fans of Buster Keaton? I grew up on Buster Keaton, the train movie, where he's fighting the Confederates and stuff like that. There's a big shot where a train is going over a trestle and he's got to stop it and it caves in, and that whole train just goes.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that.
Down. Okay, that train is still there. That's just what Hollywood does, man. Oh yeah, nice. Okay, moving on. That trestle in that train is still there. They never thought about, well, how do we clean it up? I mean, so we do that. But, and so they were worried about Alcatraz. Then there was a lot of trouble making the movie, but it had nothing to do now with the front office, as they said, because we were fighting the Smokies, the people who run the tours, the tour guides. They're Smokies. They dress in smoky.
Okay.
So here was the rule that we had to follow, which is really weird. All tours take precedence over the movie. If you're on a set in a cell, and at 2:00 a tour comes through, you have to stop shooting, even if you're in the middle of a scene. You have to stop, let the tour come through, and then go on. Well, the Smokies found out, and they revere it. They're very serious people, the tour guides. I didn't know that. I thought they were just paid, they go, blah, blah, blah. No, they're really serious. I mean, about national monuments.
You have to be pretty serious if you're going to say the same thing about the same thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's not, well, no, it's not necessarily the same thing. I've been on those. Where they change it every couple of days. They change. I've witnessed that. Not on Alcatraz, but on other tours. So I know that they fool around. Okay, but they would come through, and they didn't like the fact that when people came on Alcatraz now during our movie for that 3 months, the tourist would say, "Oh, are we going to see the Clint Eastwood movie filming?" And they took that as a personal insult. I mean, you don't want to see where, Frank Nitti was. You don't want to see. They just want to see the movie. They just totally dropped Alcatraz. And the Smokies, the tour guides, really didn't like it. So what they would do is they would just pull tours through wherever we were filming. They just, okay, we're going to go this way now. And they would just come through, and we would have to stop and wait. And they were just giving it to us every day. They would do that, So now it was a battle between Clint Eastwood's gang and the Smokies gang and the tourists. Because they would say, "Where's Clint Eastwood?" What?
I'm putting my money on Clint Eastwood every time. I don't
Well, we
care
got
how
the
many
movie
Smokies
done.
you
I mean, finally, I think there was a meeting where, hey, man, okay, now let's just call a truce because nobody's getting anything done. I mean, the tourists weren't hearing about Frank Nitti, and we weren't getting the movie done. So we had to call a truce. So, but yeah, so that was what was going on there. Yeah. I mean,
Any cool Clint stories from set?
Oh, they're all Clint. Both of them. Both of them. Clint and good. Oh yeah. Okay. So I mean, but see, back then, even back then, man, I had an attitude problem, and I just don't care because see, I never wanted to be an actor, ever. I don't even want to be an actor now. I mean, it's very hard. It's very hard. You got to memorize lines and stuff. Come on. I mean, what job do you have to memorize stuff? It's a bad job. So I never want to be, so I don't care if I'm getting fired. I just don't care. I mean, this is not I wasn't born, but I was born to do something that has to do with acting. That's making my own films, which I'm doing now. But back then, okay, so Clint Eastwood. So I'm in a scene with Clint Eastwood, and he goes, and they had a habit. Don Siegel and Clint Eastwood had worked in many movies, and Don Siegel taught Clint Eastwood how to make movies. And when they made movies, they would be giving, well, Don would be giving Clint lessons. I mean, literally lessons, like a teacher. And on Alcatraz, the same thing. During, as a matter of fact, in the doctor scene on Escape from Alcatraz, there's one scene where they're in a doctor's office. It's a very short scene. The doctor in that scene, that's Don Siegel. Clint Eastwood wanted to direct the scene. He said, I'm ready. Let me direct something that I'm not in. So Don Siegel said, okay, there's a small little scene. You can direct that. But I have to be there. I've got to be in it. I'm not going to not go into work that day because there's a lot of money riding on the movie. So he said, I'll be in then. So I don't know who decided, either Clint or he said, I'm going to be the doctor or you be the doctor. So that's Don Siegel. That's the director as the doctor. And Clint is directing. And when Clint came in to direct that day, every day, he never went into his dressing room. Clint Eastwood. He always wore his convict uniform. He'd come in and he'd just be in his convict uniform all day. And he would hang around and he would eat with the extras. He wouldn't eat with the stars. He would eat with the extras. He would hang with the extras. So I hung with the extras. So I was hanging with Clint, So that's the kind of guy he was, always in this uniform. The day he directs, so that was what we were all used to. And then one day he comes in all duded up in a jogging outfit, a brand new one. And he had the thing where you look at the clouds, the little thing the directors look at. He had those thing. And he was all, jaunty, jolly, and sharp. It wasn't like, it was a different Clint. I mean, he was standing tall. He wasn't a convict. And he was directing. So that's the kind of, and then they were talking about it. Like, well, why don't you put the camera here? So he was learning. They're teaching me. I thought that was really cool. But they also had a habit together that at the end of each take with Clint, Don would walk over. So I was in this scene with Clint. He would walk over, no matter what the scene was, he would walk over. He'd say, how was that for you, Clint? And Clint would say, that was good for me. And they'd say, okay, moving on. But he would always check with Clint. Nobody else. He would say, how was that for you? Okay. So I'm in the scene. And then one time he said, Clint said, I don't know, I would like to do that. Again. So we did it again. Okay. And I thought, wow, because that's the other thing about Clint. He only likes to do one take. If you have to do another take, you have to explain to him why. He won't do it unless you give him an explanation. It's like, oh, let's do it again. No, what's wrong? He wants to know what's wrong. And so, the camera jiggled or we try. Okay, then so one day he comes up to Clint and never looked at me. They never even, once cut, there was the two of them and I'm standing right there. And as close as I am to you guys right now. And I'm standing there. And they didn't even talk to me. They're talking, would you like to do it again? Yeah, I kind of like to do it again. Yeah. Why? Well, I'd like to do it. I think I can do it better. Okay, cool. All right, let's go. All right, we're going to do it again. Boom. Okay. 2 shots. And if no more than 2 shots, man, he really gets kind of uptight. Okay. Another day, we're in a scene, and he goes, how's that for you? And Clint Eastwood said, well, I don't know how this goes. Clint Eastwood said, that's okay for me. Oh, yeah. He said, that's okay for me. And I finally, fed up with this, just ignoring me totally. And also, I wanted to do it again. So I said, well, I'd like to do it again. I think I can do it better. Just speaking up. And Clint just looked at me and he's, yikes. Wow. So I said, I'd like to do it again. I think I can do it better. And Clint just looked at me and he says, well, I can't. And he walked away. Whoa. Okay. All right. That's one for you, Clint. But remember what I said about friends. I hold it in. So I'm just waiting. Because when Clint walked away, the crew laughed just like you did. And that just galled me, man. Okay. And I thought, all right. And I just stayed up night after night, just thinking, I got to do it. Because I was in the barrel, man, and they don't let up. Crews, once they're against you, forget it. They'll laugh at you for the rest of the thing. It's really weird. I mean, and it was his guys. I mean, he only works with these people, even though it was Don Siegel. So I said it. And then one fucking day, man. He said, cut. Clint, is that, how's that for you? And Clint said the exact same words. He said, no, I'd like to do it again. I think I can do it better. And I said, well, I can't. And I walked away. There was silence. Nobody laughed. And I just kept on walking. Now, where we were shooting this was on Tier C, which was where our cells were. So that's a big drop. That's like the 3rd tier, man. And it's a corridor. It's only about, that wide. And I was standing there when I said, when I can't, and I turned and I walked away. There was only 2 ways to walk, that way, and that was blocked by the crew and a lot of equipment. So the only way I could walk was into my cell, into a wall, which that was out. So I had to walk down that way because I wanted to walk away. And and it was just silence behind me, and I'm walking. And weirdly, that door was getting further and further away. And I'm just walking and walking. I say, and now I have to think, because now what did I do? And there's no little kids saying, dude, cool. And so I'm thinking, okay, I'm fired, but I'm not turning around, and I'm just going to keep walking and get to that fucking door and get out of here, man. I just can't, And just as I was about to get to the door, I'm very sad because I'm leaving this great thing. Clint says, hey, Larry, come back, will you, man? Come here. Jesus Christ. And from then on, it was his buddy. I mean, not really his buddy, but I mean, he was a lot friendlier to me. And that was it. Then I asked Don Siegel about that, and he said, well, yeah, back in the day, when the black and white movies, he said they were doing that all the time to each other. You just had to hang in. You couldn't get upset. You just take it, man. So that was one of the things. Then there was another thing, and then Don Siegel just treated me like his grandson. I think he really did. He kind of liked me because I had dyslexia, and so a lot of times I mistake the meanings. I get what you're saying, but I misinterpret it. So so I would get things wrong a lot, or sometimes I make a little errors and stuff. And he really great directors, that doesn't bother them at all. They don't give directions. Great directors don't give directions. I mean, John Huston, I worked with him. Nothing. It's cool. A lot of them. So so he. I was in a scene, and he calls me over. He says, "Yeah," because I was like, "Yeah, it's like my grandson." He says, "Hey, Larry, come here." What? Get in the scene. Get in the back in there. What am I doing? Well, why? I'm not in the scene. Yeah, but I'm having two people, face each other like this. It's a side view profiles, and there's a hole here, and there's a cell there. So just get in the cell. I just want a body in the cell. So get in there. Oh, okay, fine. So I run in to the cell. And I say, "How much time have I got?" He says, "Well, we're setting up. You got about 4 minutes." Okay. So I run to the prop department, which is a table. That's what it is. Props on it. I said, "Look, you got a checkerboard. I want to be playing chess in the background there. Just so I'm not just sitting, not doing anything. We don't have a chessboard." Oh, shit. Why? We got a chessboard. Oh, fuck. Okay, give me a chessboard and the chessman. Okay, boom. I run in. I go in. I set it up. Boom, boom, boom. I said, "Okay, Larry, you ready with your stuff?" Yeah. Okay. All right. Meanwhile, he's got 2 stars waiting. You ready, Larry? Okay. Yeah. All right. Action. All right. Cut. Larry, come here. I thought, oh fuck! Now what have I done wrong? Dyslexia is shit, man. What are you doing? I'm playing checkers. No, you're not. You got a chessboard there. What are you doing? Well, no. See, Charlie Butts doesn't know how to play chess, and the Alcatraz department doesn't have any checkerboards. So they gave Charlie a chessboard, but he's playing checkers with the chessboard. So that's what you're doing? Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll stop. I don't have to do that. No, I just wanted to know what the hell you're doing, Larry. Go back there. It's okay. Go ahead. All right, let's do it again. I mean, that's what's going on. The whole 3 months. Larry, what are you doing? No, it's okay, but I just want to know.
So during our pandemic, I have been, much like many people, watching a lot of TV shows that we never got to, or movies or whatnot. And I never, ever got the opportunity to sit down and watch Breaking Bad. So I did this cool. Pandemic time. Great. So my question for you is, did you feel maybe a little bit of pressure or whatnot to join the cast, because you joined in season 3 as Joe?
Yeah.
So
man, I was a fan. I was hooked. So when I got a call to get an audition for Breaking Bad, that was there goes the 18-year-old, 17-year-old kid just flooding back. Wow, man, I'm gonna go. Wow, an audition. I mean, just as a fan, that mental thing, just auditioning was enough. I didn't care if I got the job, So I went in, and now there's a story there. I'll make it short, but so I was so up for the audition. It was only 5 lines, and like I say, I'm dyslexic, so learning lines is very hard. And to be in something that I really loved, to have 5 lines, to me was a gift that I didn't have to struggle. 5 lines I can remember. It's these long speeches that I'm talking about. But so, wow, I was auditioning for something I loved, and it was just a small speech. I'll be in it. I don't care how small it is. So I was stoked. And so I did the audition. The audition was ridiculous because how did that go? I think, there was nobody else there. I thought somebody was fired because generally they said, get down there right now. You got an audition with Breaking Bad. Get down there right now. Now, generally, they give you 3 or 4 days. They send you the sides, and all that. But no, when you have to go down there right now, that means somebody got fired. And so that kind of bugged me. Now, why would that bug me? Because I was thinking, oh, you want me to replace somebody? Why didn't you get me in the first place? Oh, you hired somebody else. Now they can't do it. So now you're hiring me. Fuck you. And I was just driving there, getting more and more angry. But I calmed down because, hey, it's Breaking Bad. But it was only 5 lines. So I get in there, and it was just there's nobody else there. So I knew, oh, man, that's what it is. Somebody got fired. Emergency. And there was nobody in the room. This is an empty room. obviously for just these things, empty room. There's just a chair for the assistant who has got this little, off-the-shelf camera. And she said, do you want to sit or stand? There was only one chair. So I'll stand. Okay. So now she's going to read, and she's not an actress, so she's reading. So there's nobody I can even talk to. She's reading like this. So I thought, oh, man, this is ridiculous. But okay, fine. Hey, it's Breaking Bad, man. So she's okay, go. Blah, 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 blah. Boom. And he says, okay, thank you. And it was just so sudden and so small for such a big thing to me. That I said, well, you want me to do it again? And she said, no, not unless you want to do it again. No, I don't want to do it again. But if you want me to do it again, I'll do it again. No, I don't need you to do it again. Well, if you don't need me to do it again, then I don't want to do it again. Then she said, you're dismissed. Okay. And I left. Wow, man. But when I got there, they had written me a big speech. And I said, what the hell is this? And now I got totally fried. My brain was fried. I can't do it. I just can't do it. I knew it. Because I have to get the script days ahead of everybody else because of my dyslexia. And everyone knows that. And it's part of the contract, But to give it to me on the day that I got to shoot, this full page, entire page monologue, I said, I can't do it, I freaked out the assistant who brought it to me. I can't do this. Well, I got to get it back to the set. So I didn't know what to do. So I basically what I did was I improvised it, thinking nobody will know the difference. And so I did. That's what I did. I improvised, and it was legalese. I had to keep the cop out of the Winnebago because they were hiding in the Winnebago.
Right.
And I had to say legal things that would keep a police officer out of the Winnebago because it's on my property. I try to memorize it as best I could. I try to scan it. I try to keep certain things in my mind. But I improvised it, and I went all the way to the end. I thought, well, basically, I'm going to be fired from my favorite show. That's my go-to adjustment. If anything goes wrong, I'm going to be fired, and then I get okay with that. And then anything else that happens better than that, I'm cool. But if they say you're fired, it's okay. I never wanted to be an actor.
I like to go with the worst case scenario also. Yeah, because then it's all
just go with it. Yeah, and then what's the worst thing that can happen? You're fired. So as soon as I stopped talking, I figured, and now, Larry, you're fired. And he said, okay, let's do it again. And I thought, holy cow, did I memorize that? He didn't even blink, man. He didn't say nothing. He said, good. Okay, let's do it again. Okay, now I thought, oh, this is just insurance. I've done it, so I don't have to worry, even if I do go off book a little. Fine. Mm-hmm. So I just improvised it again, not worrying. And he said, okay, no, he said dismissed. That's what he said. He said dismissed. Okay, you're up, Larry. Thank you very much. Larry's dismissed. Thank you. They all clap, no matter what actor. Oh, you're dismissed. Bye. I couldn't figure it out, and I had to wait for 2 weeks to find out how I did or what I did. I didn't even know what I did because. So I called a couple of friends and I said, "Watch the show. It's coming up in 3 weeks. Watch it." And so when it came on, I watched it. And it was amazing. And I asked my friends. I said, "What did you see when you watched the one scene where I was in the Winnebago and I'm talking to the cop?" Well, you're walking and talking, and you're trying to keep the cop out of the Winnebago because they were hiding in there. Yeah, but tell me specifically what you saw, really. You were walking and talking to the cop, and there was a Winnebago over here. That's not what you saw. What did you really see? That's what we saw. You didn't see that. What you saw was me walking and talking for the first sentence and a half because I had memorized that. And then the rest of the time, they had taken my two improvs and edited together as a voiceover. And so they looked at me, and then the cop to inside the Winnebago, the cop to me for another second while I said something right, not even the right thing, but the right kind of thing. And then back, I was on screen less than 7 seconds, less. I would say 5 to 6 seconds. movies is magic. And here's the clincher. The director knew that the first time I opened my mouth after the first sentence and a half. He knew what he had to do because he had written that monologue, not Vince Gilligan. Vince asked the director to write a scene for me because he liked what I did for the audition. So he said, give him a big speech. And he knew that he could cobble it together because he knew this guy's never going to memorize what I just wrote. It's all legalese, but it worked. I mean, I worked and it worked. And they figured it out. They fixed it in post, which you can do. So the takeaway from that is you can never, and this happened in other movies, you can never be bad. That's the great thing about being in movies as opposed to TV sitcoms. Because if you're bad, they're not going to use that cut or that, they're going to cut around you and use your voice. Many times I've been in a scene where I wasn't saying anything, but they cut to my face listening because they were using something else that the actor said. Mm-hmm. So they don't need it. They don't need the face. They just need the line. That's what they mean by coverage. When somebody says, let's get some coverage, they mean, in case this guy screws up, let's, what the hell is going on? No.
And that's pretty cool too, because I know with Breaking Bad, like as far as like the legal stuff, they tried to be as as factual and as real as possible. So like, and if you're just kind of riffing off the top of your head, and they're still making it work, and it still makes it into the show, like that's really cool too. It's just really
it's cool because if what you say is true, and I believe it is true, then those 10 years I spent in Second City in the committee improvising paid off finally. I mean, because I would not admit that I could not memorize that thing. I mean, I just wouldn't admit it. Even if he had asked me, no, I can do it again better. But he didn't do that. He just knew what was going on, and he was very cool about it. So in other words, he also understood making movies. It wasn't like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Right. He just said, no, let's do it again. Fine. Because he wanted coverage of my improv is what he wanted. Let's see if we can get a couple of more different takes of. So yeah, Breaking Bad was just amazing. Amazing.
John skipped over most of the late 80s and 90s. So
it did. I'll let you do that.
I'm going to pull us back real quick. So in 1990, you were in 3 fantastic movies: Home Alone, Pretty Woman, and one of my favorite action movies of all time, Death Warrant.
Oh, man.
What was it like on Death Warrant?
Well, Death Warrant to me, it was just another prison movie. And, Alcatraz was way better. But Van Damme was a great guy. He's just a regular guy, man. I was not expecting that at all. I expected somebody totally different. So, go figure, fans don't know, I mean, but he was just a nice guy. The reason that I loved it was because I loved the part that I played. I've always wanted to play that part. A junkie. Every actor wants to play a death scene, a junkie, and King Lear. That's
what
a threesome that is.
Have you hit all
That's
3?
All I ever wanted to play.
Did you get King Lear? I didn't see that on your credit.
Well, I'm going for it. I'm not ready yet. I'm going to grow into it. So, but yeah. So, but the reason I like it was because I played a junkie, and I looked junkie-like in the movie. Because on the set, I didn't look that way. I mean, to me, in the mirror, but the camera captured the the dark eyes and the thing, and I just liked the way I played it. I mean, I didn't push it, but I was there. You could tell. And then my death scene was just, the death scene. I played a death scene. I played many death scenes, but I like that one because, first of all, that close up of my nose was just. I want, if they could play a video on my tombstone, that would be a shot that I would like to play. Here plays Larry Hankin, and there's this nose.
You might be onto a side business here, Larry. That seems like something that could be done.
Okay, man. I got to patent that right away.
Yeah, for real. You need to get
Is
on
this
top
show
of that.
patentable so I can get my... Oh, see, I said it. I said it right there.
Yeah, no,
Copyright.
Copyright Larry Hankin.
Yeah.
Geeks Podcast.
But so I really like my death, that they burn me alive and you hear the scream and then the match and the gasoline. But I just like my part. Because what I think they were trying to do was that after Escape from Alcatraz?
Yeah, it was in the early 90s.
Yeah, I mean, I think they were trying to, because it entered my mind when I was making it. Oh, this is a ripoff of Alcatraz. So I wasn't too interested in that kind of, what do you call it? That kind of movie, because I'd already been in Alcatraz. But I was interested in, Charles Van Damme. He's pretty cool karate guy. So, and he was big in movies then. He was the latest flavor of the month. So yeah, but I like the part that I just love the casting. I just like that.
Awesome. So yeah, in the 90s, you were in like all the great sitcoms: Mad About You, Married with Children, Step by Step,
Holy cow.
Home Improvement. You played the very terrifying guy who shows up on one of the Halloween specials to scare the children.
Can I just mention something about that one guy, the Halloween guy?
Yeah.
And because I've been doing these podcasts, I talk a lot about the past. I don't think about the past. I'm a now guy. I'm always in the now, which, according to Baba Ramdas, is really cool. It's not that cool. It's not that cool, because there's a future, and it exists. The future can be anything. But anything exists. And I don't think that way. That's part of dyslexia. So I'm locked in the now. I mean, I can, if I concentrate and think, I got to mail this letter tomorrow. I've got to meet this guy next week. But I got to drum that in my head. I got to leave notes around. The future just is hard for me. So now, okay, I just forgot my point. So what was that? Just dyslexia. I don't know. The 90s, and I don't know. I just lost it, man. I just lost the track.
Well, I was talking about Home Improvement.
Home Improvement. Yeah. Okay. So looking back, when I did that part, I did the part, and then I watch it. I always watch what I do, but when I watched it, I didn't like it. I didn't. I don't like what I did. So I got very discouraged, but I've recently watched it, maybe, I don't know, a couple of months ago. For some reason I was watching it. There it was. Holy cow. And no, I mean, I believed the character, it wasn't as bad as I thought. And I'm beginning to see now, as I do these podcasts and looking back on stuff, my mind has totally changed about how I perceived things back then and how I perceive things now. Like things that I thought were great were not that great. Things that I thought were very bad or not bad at all. In my writing, in my acting, in my paintings and stuff, it's just the past to me is now totally different. Because of that attitude thing that I had. Because I worked on it. You always have to work on it. But that either blinded me or changed the way I looked at things. So, bringing that particular thing up, the Halloween guy, when I think about it now and when I watched it, no, it was fine. I showed up, I did my job. I mean, maybe I could have done it better, maybe, but that's the thing that blows my mind, is my point of, not my point of view, my
perspective.
My perspective, yeah. It just, and that's amazing that things you believed back then, things I believed back then, I don't believe now. And it's me, and nobody changed my mind. I changed my mind without even knowing it. That's, so that makes me think a lot about what I think about things now in 5 years. So I always have doubt about being so sure of myself now.
So I was leading to the question about your appearance on Seinfeld as Kramer, the show within the show. You were up to play Kramer originally, right?
Right, yeah. But when I don't get a job, I watch the show to see who got it. I don't fool around. And I get, they picked him instead of me. What the, bullshit is that? I mean, I really get, no, I don't know. So what it did was it taught me not to care, because you can't tell what they're in the, in other words, forgetting about my attitude, they picked him over me. I have nothing to do with that. It's their picking. I did my best. He did his best. He picked them. So I stopped caring about, they picked him over me. So when Michael Richards, who was a friend of mine, we would audition for things together for years before he got that. And I went on to other things. So we knew each other because we were always in the same order. We looked alike. We even did a sitcom together as brothers way before that. So we knew. So when Michael got it and I saw the show, I thought, yeah, they got the right guy, man. I can't do what he does. He goes over, I go under. So, I mean, there was a choice there. But when they wanted a guy to imitate him, it was Michael who said, get Hankin. Because he knew right away, hey, well, we did a sitcom together. He can do me, He didn't know if I could do it good or bad, but since we hung out together. Mm-hmm. So so Michael Richards suggested me. So I got over that kind of thing. I'm starting to get over a lot of this bullshit that I got, I write it out mainly. The screenplay helped a lot. It's just
awesome.
Get me on the page,
Well, let's talk about a couple of your short films, because you said you're very, very passionate about that. And you said you just wrote a screenplay as well. So what do you got on tap in terms of your coming up here?
Well, I just finished two. Well, yeah, okay. So I'll give you a perfect example of just what I was talking about, but this is the writing. Okay, so about in 1976, this is going way back, I made a drawing. I saw, I guess I was thinking this in 1976. I noticed as an actor, being an actor, I mean, that's how I was paying my rent, by being an actor. It seemed to work, but I wanted to just pay my rent and just draw and paint and write. So in 1976, I noticed something about actors as they aged. That the women actors who I watched in movies, a lot of black and white movies and then color movies as they start to come in, was a lot of these women who were stars, like Lucille Ball. But she was as women, they would get too old to be in movies, so they started to become TV sitcom moms. I noticed that. You hit 40, you're a sitcom mom. And then you're 10 years, you're a sitcom mom. And then guys, I noticed, your movies, you're a movie actor, and then become sitcom dad about 55. And then you do that for 7 years. And I thought, no, that seems to be Valhalla, actor's heaven, but I just couldn't take that. And that's how I saw where acting was going. So since I didn't want to be an actor, I didn't dream of being an actor. I was just being an actor because it paid well and I could get by. But to then just do only that and then have to do a TV sitcom dad, so I go, okay, I'm going to do something else. And I started to design a character. And I drew a character I wanted to be when I was 55 or older that I could do. And I drew a guy named Emmett Demas, a film short that I did in 2011. And that got as much publicity as Sally's Diner, which was a Academy Award thing, a film short that I did, nomination. So that went around the world, and I said, "Wow, okay, I'm cool now. I've got my character, and now I can be an actor as long as I want, and then I can just slide into that." So 5 years ago, I made this movie, and it was on called The Outlaw Emmett Demas, and he was this old guy who I had always dreamed of in 1976. Even drew, and he looked exactly like the drawing. How I got that, and that could be like he saw the future. Well, which is not true, but you could interpret that. How can somebody, you draw it and then you become it, 30 years later or something. But that stuck in my mind. But anyway, I made a film short. A friend, a cinematographer's wife, came up to me, who was a friend, actress friend. And she said, hey, my husband wants to be a cinematographer. He's only a camera operator. Why don't you write a film short and he'll be the cinematographer. He can get the credit and the reel as a cinematographer. He can get more jobs and you have a little film short and he's a great camera operator. You have a good little film. I thought that was really great. I wrote it. He filmed it and we got an Academy Award nomination. And that was the first homeless guy I did, thinking about this homeless guy that I'm going to be when I get gray hair and old. He'll be homeless. So this was a practice run, only being young, but at least one of the things. Okay, so when I did Emmett Demas, which was this guy, only later years when I was I thought, okay, I'm ready. I made the film short. I'm ready for a feature. And I wrote the feature called The Outlaw Emmett Demas. And I spent a lot of time on it and a lot of energy. I really was, this I cared about. Wrote it, and I sent it around, and nothing came back. So I put it in a drawer. And then after I forgot about it, because in festivals, when you submit somebody, it's a year before you get it back. So I guess the last thing that I got, which after I put it in the drawer and forgot about it, I get a letter. Hey, you've been entered, and I got an award for it. Oh. Slam dance, which is not that's a good thing to get an award for. But it's too late. I started something else. So I wrote something else, and this is the one that I did in the COVID thing. I sequestered myself. I wrote another one, a horror movie, a comedy horror movie. But after I finished that, which I just finished about 5 days ago, I put it in a drawer. So now, after you intensively work on something for so long, it's like postpartum depression. You have nothing to do, man. You don't know what to do. I thought, I'll read the old Emmett Demas screenplay. So 5 days ago, I read my old, and it's great, man. It's funny as hell. Again, that twist that, I don't know what I'm doing when I'm doing it. That's why they tell you, put your screenplay in a drawer and forget it for a month. Now I understand why. You just have a whole perspective. So anyway, I started to send it out, and I'm getting some good feedback. So there you go. I wrote this screenplay, and I didn't like it, and then I read it again years later. So I don't know how many years, at least 5 years. You
got to age it like a wine.
I think that's true. And me, I'm an instant gratification guy. That's also dyslexia. Well, that's the ADHD thing. I have OCD, ADHD, and dyslexia all packed into one. But here's what it does. That's my painting, and that's my painting. So I figure, well, that's it. Me and Kanye West. We're weird,
I have to say before anything else, I am really, really digging your art. I'm staring at this painting now. The one behind you is good. I'm looking at this one over here, and it's very, very good. So I just wanted to tell you that I'm very much enjoying your art.
While we're talking about that, thank you. I forgot your name. See,
my name's Max.
Oh, Max. Okay. I wanted to talk about that because I have this website. It's a new website, and it just went up. It just went up last night. So it went off beta. Now
all right, breaking news, 3 Geeks. Awesome.
But it's thereallarryhankin.com, and the reason I'm bringing it up now is these two. I have 44 paintings like that. Those are 4 feet by 3 feet. So I have them on my website. And they're like $300 or $500 a piece. That size, mounted and everything like that. You send away for it. That's way too expensive. But if you got a room and you're rich, fine. But I just rented this and they're mine, so I couldn't afford these. But they're in my room. But a lot of people, when they saw them, they said, "Hey, man, this would make great T-shirts." So I have 20 of my paintings are now on T-shirts, and they're really great color. I looked for a long time for a T-shirt place that can reproduce these bright colors and also be breathable. It's not plastic or anything like that. It's just print. It's ink. If you go to thereallarryhankin.com, you can buy T-shirts really cheap. I think they're $13 or $20. It's a big sale.
Really good price for a T-shirt.
It's a big sale. I'm with a whole bunch of people. big sale now. And there's also my film shorts, Solly's Diner, and all the other things are on there, thereallarryhankin.com. And there's my writings on it, and my biography and pictures.
And you said that,
okay,
that
that's
went up
it,
yesterday?
the commercial. And it just went, well, no, we were waiting. We didn't want to launch it until we got the T-shirts. And the T-shirts went through the whole rigmarole of the setup, the store, how you can put different prints on different T-shirts. You can switch them around, and
Okay.
that took time. So now it's all set up.
I got another question for you. So
yeah.
You were in Billy Maddison with, at the time, a very unknown Adam Sandler. What was that experience like? Because that movie blew up when it came out.
I find it hard to talk about Adam Sandler. I didn't have a very good time. I thought he was just a smart-ass kid. That's
Okay.
who I thought it was. He still is a smart-ass old guy now. But he's still I don't... Have you seen anybody who's seen Uncut Gems?
I have.
I think he did a great job, man, as an actor. But he's not funny, man. He's just a poop guy. He just tells these kindergarten 16-year-old, and it just, because I was a stand-up comedian, but I was like Lenny Bruce, George Carlin, Richie Pryor. You go back even further, Myron Cohn, Sam Levinson, Red Fox, Belle Barth. Come on, man. Grow up. But so, when I was on the set with him, he's a pranker. He was pulling pranks on me. And he wasn't Clint Eastwood.
He sounds a pretty far shot from Clint Eastwood.
Come on, man. So, but I respect him as an actor. All the stuff he did, all the serious roles, he's very good, very good. And he's an excellent businessman. He is king of comedy in Hollywood. If you want to get a movie made, you go and ask Adam to, front for you. He can get anything made. So, but just personally, I just don't like the way he. See, I guess I'm actually the exact opposite. I'm very shy socially. I have no social chops at all. When I was growing up, and that's because of these challenges I have, mental challenges I have. When I was growing up in like public school or high school, and there was a family gathering or stuff like that, like in public school, I would sit under a piano because I couldn't take the input of all the people in the room. It was just it would short out my mind. So I would sit under a piano. I remember I'd sit on the piano just very peacefully because it was very quiet. I'd see all these legs. I thought it was very funny, these people's legs. And then every once in a while, somebody would just come over, and they go, "Are you okay? Why are you sitting under there?" So I would have a little conversation with somebody for about, a genuine conversation for about 2 minutes until her back gave out. But at least it was me and the person. It was just, one-on-one. Nobody was going, oh, hi. So I had at least somebody's attention for a small amount of time. And I didn't feel out of place. Even though I'm sitting under a piano, I didn't feel out of place. Like just sitting in a chair and nobody's talking to me. So, I had to go through that kind of evolution. So, so he's the other way. He wants your attention all the time. He would call me at 4 a.m. with some girl. He would have some girl call me. "Hey, can I come up to your room? Right now." And I just say, "Tell Adam I got a 6 o'clock call. Screw him."
Well, I think as we're getting close to wrapping up here, Larry, I have one final question because Jason and I have a love of the old courtroom drama of Matlock, and you appeared on an episode.
We do a Matlock podcast, actually.
We just started doing a Matlock podcast where we review.
No, wait a minute. Was that the one where I was a dead body?
I don't think so.
You played.
Do you know what I was? What?
You played Clayton Hood.
I think I was a cop who was shot. I don't remember exactly, but I do remember that it was a cop show, and that I was laying on because they do it in the real locations.
Okay.
And this person that I was playing was shot in a motel, a very cheap motel.
Okay.
One of those seedy cop episodes.
Yeah.
And so this really was the seediest motel I've ever been in. And I get shot and I fall down on this rug that hadn't been cleaned since 1937. It was just, I felt the grit and the grime, and I had to fall out. It's a movie and they're shooting. What?
How was Andy Griffith to work with? Did you have a lot of interaction with him or no?
Andy Griffith, no. I just let me explain something about the grit.
Sure.
As soon as I fell down and I felt the grit on my face, they said, "Oh, holy cow, we got to take a break. Something broke." And they said, "Somebody mark." And I thought they said just for a second, like they just got to tape something and then continue. So I said, laying on the floor, if you're going to start to mark me where, and stop the camera, I'll just lay here, just for a second, if you're going to do that. So he said, okay, cool. And then all of a sudden I'm laying there. Now they haven't marked me, so I can't move now. And everybody, I just saw crew people stepping over me and leaving. And I'm laying there, and this is like one or two, and I had to lay there the whole time, and I'm thinking, and they thought I was nuts, man. And I thought, I can't move, and I am nuts. This is crazy. Now I'm locked here until they come back. I can't move. So that's all I remember about that, about Matlock. That's my Matlock story.
Okay. All right.
Do an episode, do a podcast on that.
Well,
no, we're going to do an hour on this dead body in the motel. Anybody see that? No, I haven't seen that. And Matlock, I don't remember except the lining up. I remember I always had trouble with lining up. What I mean by that is, I think in Matlock, no, the Andy Griffith Show, because that was a TV sitcom.
yes.
And that's what I'm talking about, lining up. There was another show exactly like that I also did, a cop show. That was in color, though. So what they did was, so I'm a character. I don't remember what character it is. But you line up. There's 4 people. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lined up straight like this. And we're talking. So in the rehearsal, I'm, turning to this guy. Hi, like how you did, blah, blah, blah. And then I would turn and blah, 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 blah. And they would do the same thing, but you can't move. You don't turn like that. You go like that, or like that. So I'm from stage, and I'm from like movies. And you don't line up. You talk. Hey, blah 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 blah, and then maybe he comes around. So I'm thinking, why isn't he coming around? I'm just talking to him like that. And they kept on saying, cut, no. And then they would come up and they placement, but nobody said anything. They just said, no, get back in line. Then they go, all right, let's do it again. So I'm talking blah, blah, blah. And then just naturally, I just talk to him like this. And then if he didn't turn around, and they go, no, you can't move. I said, well, I said this, because I just say what's on my mind. Look, this is stupid, man. Nobody talks 4 in a row like this. Come on, let's be real here. And he goes, this is TV sitcom. This is not real. We have a camera over there. We get you, we get, and then there's 3 other things. We get different angles, but you can't move around, So I never understood the tropes of TV sitcom, and the cop show that you were talking about, the
Matlock. Yes.
No, the second one.
The Andy Griffith Show?
Andy Griffith Show was a TV sitcom, and they lined you up like that, and I couldn't break the habit. I understood, okay, but in the middle of the scene, I would just kind of, just get into the scene, and they kept on having to stop it, like I had to do it like 3 or 4 times. I felt like an idiot, but it was just a habit. But that's all I remember
Okay.
You know, but the Andy Griffith Show and TV sitcoms until I learned finally, you know, okay. So yeah, there's a lot of